Yes, all right. So we have the next session, which is going to be a panel discussion with some experts from across the region who are going to be part of it. The panel discussion topic will be enabling AI-driven future, rather AI-driven future enterprise with hybrid cloud in the Middle East. The moderator of the panel will be Mr. Saiful Bakhtiar Osman. Mr. Osman, you here?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. So there you go. So you have your panelists lined up and you've been the moderator. The stage is yours, Mr. Osman.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome everyone to the second panel discussion for the day. So today we are going to discuss in depth about on enabling an AI-driven future enterprise with hybrid cloud in the Middle East. Ladies and gentlemen, artificial intelligence or AI is not something new in IT environment. However, the application of AI in the industry is quite slow for non-technological industries, as organizations are being quite reserved in adapting unfamiliar technologies. However, the adoption rate for the cloud and hybrid cloud, on the other hand, seems to be increasing, especially post the pandemic, post-pandemic. So, joining us today, we have four esteemed panelists and also subject matter experts will be sharing their thoughts and insights on this topic today. So without further ado, let us welcome our first panelist for today, Mr. Ali Abdullah Alsadad. Mr. Ali, welcome to the session. Mr. Ali is the head of IT for the National Oil and Gas Authority. He brings with him more than 60 years of experience in the IT field, with expertise in digital transformation, cybersecurity, as well as cloud transformation. And next, we have our second panelist, Mr. Prem Prabhakaran. Welcome, Prem. Okay, Mr. Prem is currently serving as the head of IT, head of digital transformation for Foulath Holding. He has been leading the digital transformation initiative by leveraging through advanced analytics, robotics, process digitization, and data lakes. Welcome, Mr. Prem. Moving on, we have Mr. Ahmed Saleh Albalooshi. Mr. Ahmed Saleh. So Mr. Ahmed Saleh is the managing director of a Fintech ICT services and consultation company with more than 30 years of presence in the industry. He has diverse background in IT infrastructure, database, application, as well as in project management. And last but not least, we have on board is Mr. Irfan Samuel. Mr. Irfan is currently the Chief Technical Officer for Kalaam Telecom Bahrain, a subsidiary company of the Tawasul Telecom. He has more than 20 years of experience, and he has implemented many complex network design that generate business revenue. Okay, let's start the session. I would like to begin the session with Mr. Ali. Mr. Ali, how do you see the adoption rate of cloud and AI in the Middle East, or specifically in Bahrain, before and post-pandemic? Would you mind to share your thoughts? You're on mute, Mr. Ali.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, the artificial intelligence, AI, being realized as one of the major things from the major technology with the digital transformation. And the people, they are realizing of this benefit basically before the pandemic, more than before the pandemic. There is basically an estimation of a contribution of $15.7 trillion, and this is for the globe estimation, investing in the artificial intelligence. And within the Middle East itself, there is estimation of around $320 billion, a contribution from the Middle East countries with the artificial intelligence, and this is to 2030. I think that Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, they have a more contribution with the AI, and with Bahrain itself, people, they started doing the things there with the artificial intelligence. If we are talking about, let's say that the oil and gas sector, for example, we started a sort of initiatives there with the artificial intelligence. We tried to assign groups there studying and rationalizing a certain project in artificial intelligence. Now, looking before the pandemic and after the pandemic, people before the pandemic, still they didn't realize the IT itself, the benefits of the IT itself. And people, they said always that IT for business, which means that IT is supporting the business and giving a sort of help to the business. But after the pandemic, they changed that statement and that approach, that IT is a business, which means that you can rely on the technology itself to run the businesses, and especially using the emerging technologies such as the artificial intelligence. So more adoption it will be in Kingdom of Bahrain and even with the other countries in the Middle East. But we are, let's say that in the initial stage right now. We have a lack of experienced people in the artificial intelligence. Academically as well, the university, they just try to engage the academic certification with the artificial intelligence. We need, I think that a certain time to reach that maturity level and to be fully engaged with the artificial intelligence. There is a lot of application there, a lot of projects there. It can be basically engaged with it, but we need that expert people to start doing the things there in Kingdom of Bahrain.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Ali. Okay, so from what you said just now, it seems that the pandemic is kind of blessing in disguise for IT, that now IT is being given the priority to run the business. Okay, moving on to Mr. Irfan. Okay, Mr. Irfan, for companies who are still struggling to adapt with this new technology, what is your advice on the strategy and approach? Should they venture into this AI and cloud?
Thank you, and hello, everyone. Yes, as Mr. Ali already mentioned that because of the pandemic situation, companies are moving toward digital transformation with a great speed and looking into their infrastructure and looking into the possibilities of transforming their full IT infrastructure and businesses. And new technologies are shaping the way societies adapt to opportunities and challenges of the future. One of the most prominent opportunities and challenges in digital transformation is so-called cloud. And companies are gearing up to move toward cloud. But some companies are struggling, as the question says, that I need to share some ideas how we can help them. So as a telecom operator, I can share some views, and we have seen also the presentation of our CEO a few minutes before, where he was mentioning that every company right now should start looking into their infrastructure challenges, how they can automate their infrastructures, how they can get more out of the infrastructure, because infrastructure is there, but they don't know what would be the outcome, how they can automate and fully utilize it. And also second options they should look into their organizations is the application modernization of the application, and start looking into the cloud platforms, whether locally or abroad, and talk to the service providers and see how they can modernize their application, move them to the cloud. And lastly, a third thing which is the companies should look into is the operational optimization, that how easy it is going to help them to operate the whole operation, a whole software or any application over the cloud, how the integration will be, how the reachability to the cloud will be, and how the reachability to the hybrid or private cloud. So there are a lot of elements. as we've seen that Gartner has some guidance from their survey, which is Gartner's cloud survey, it says that the top two drivers for cloud are the cost and agility. And many people are looking into that. And other than that, there are also innovation, IT modernization, and application development, and also standardizing the policies and processes for driving the digital transformation. Now, when it comes to AI, beyond these established benefits, which we know about moving to the cloud, there are several avenues of development, such as AI and open access data, that are contributing to grow and will affect the future of the digital world. As we know, Bahrain has a mandate. I mean, Bahrain is in a position to be the leader in the GCC as far as AI is concerned and other cloud developments. And I praise all e-government projects and the government, which they are playing important role in moving toward the cloud and encouraging the companies and supporting the companies with respect to technology, or it is financially supporting them. As Mr. Veer mentioned already, Tamkeen is gearing up to support the companies. So companies should avail these opportunities and go ahead and look for their opportunities, because throughout this pandemic situation, which will last probably, I don't know, this year or maybe next year, but the trend has changed. People have started working from home. People have started using different technologies. As we talking on Zoom, this is a purely cloud platform. And look at the Be Aware app, and this is a fantastic. I was in Europe last month, and I came to know in Europe they are talking about Bahrain, the first country to introduce Be Aware app during COVID-19 situation. They were the first one to introduce and became the leader, whom other countries they replicated the idea.
Yes, very interesting, Mr. Irfan.
Yes.
So how about you, Prem? Do you agree? How you advise all these company out there to strategize and how a company could become an AI-enabled enterprise? Over to you, Prem.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. See, in the modern world, AI is the strongest tool to overcome the challenges of an enterprise, the threats and challenges, I would say, because every enterprise wanted to become a strong brand, and it has to provide some outstanding services and innovation that is required for survival. I heard Mr. Veer has mentioning about Amazon has made an innovation on the medical field, whereas a medical company has not tried this, whereas a cloud or Amazon has tried it before. So if you think 2 decades ago, Amazon started as a web shop. So their key to success was innovation. So they were able to challenge and they were able to survive that the threats, and they can go beyond. So now in this 1 decade, we have seen that every company is focusing to collect large amount of data, digitizing their manual activities. So and installing sensors, IoT devices, IIoT devices, and everything. So there are a lot of data which every organization has, which has business value addition. So once you collect this data, you need to secure this. So cloud is the best option compared to the on-premise, even though hybrid is preferred by many. So this is the second stage where you need to collect and then secure your information and make sure it is in a data lake, so it is easily available and latest technologies can be leveraged to add value to the business. So why this process is being followed is to create a new business model, new offerings or new services to our end customers. It's not only to end customers, it is to our partners, our vendors. So the entire value chain will be affected. So I would say that introduction of AI into cloud or AI-enabled enterprise has increased the automation rates. So when you increase the automation, you are saving time, you are saving cost, and you are also doing one favor to the talented people in the organization, that they can focus on the strategic shift or the business priorities. So when the typical routine activities or somewhere there's a process in place, it should be either automated or AI should be leveraged to improve it, to become value addition. So every company is becoming more frugal. So they are actually adding value to their business and reducing the manpower or reducing the time, or in many other ways actually. So I would say to become an AI enabled enterprise, the first thing is you have a strategy to collect semantic way of data. So whatever is critical to the business, it has to be collected on a systematic way and store it well, and then it should be safer. And once you have this data in place, you can use the automation, you can embrace the predictive analytics features. Apparently the for an enterprise or your end customers, or for the survival or innovative perspective, when I said you have to decentralize decision making, you have to automate the decision making at a faster speed. So the data driven organizations always focus on, you know, the critical value from the key business data on a cloud, or, you know, more easily accessible area, so that a person who is at the center of the work, they can take quick decision. So AI will tell them based on the historical data or the machine learning models, it will predict and tell you that this is what you have to do, and you don't have to wait for your superior, or, you know, the top down approach doesn't have to follow. You can make quick decisions, and which will add value to the business.
Thanks, Prem. So I want to shift the next question to Mr. Ahmed Saleh. So, well, adopting the cloud and AI-enabled tools also comes with its challenges. So, being in fintech IT services itself, so maybe you can share with the audience the potential exposure, the potential threats, and the readiness of the financial sector in Bahrain, specifically. Over to you, Mr. Ahmed.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, first of all, good morning to everyone. Thank you for being here as well. The challenge is, it's not only about the financial sector. When you come to the security threats, so we are talking about everything. It's communication, healthcare, education, everywhere. However, and the financial sector is more critical because of the criticality of the business itself, because we are talking about money transferring from a place to place. For the traditional challenges, it's not, I mean, at this time, from my point of view, where I work in the industry 4.0, as the blockchain revolutions, as IoT threats, the AI expectations, all these are threats, by the way, because things are coming in. Think about just blockchain and the way that they work. Do the people need to move, or the banks need to move to the blockchain technology? Why? Because of the high level of security they have. They're using SHA 256. Now, but when you come to AI and the revolution and the advancement that's happening in the AI, for example, let's say the cloud computing, this can be broken as well. So see how much you are reaching the threats, how high it's going there. It's not an easy thing to just talk about it. So if you thought about the business starting from the 80s until now, we had mainframes, we had the little business that came with some internet usage until today, which is the user experience is much more. We had Web 01, Web 02, Web 03, and Web 01. The business was putting the contents for the outsiders. Then we came on the balance with the users and the business. They're putting the same information for the audience or for the outsiders. Then now we are, as users, we are putting more data. So see how is the risk? Everything is going to the bad and risky area. Now, if you think about security for a business, think of at least minimum now, or the current state, 100 days. The virus can stay there and nobody knows about it. You need at least 2 months from the time that the virus is there until it sits there. So how we can overcome these things? We have to change the mindset, the culture. the challenges are there. There are lots of challenges. If I say it, I need the whole day to say it. But yeah, it's about mindset. It's about culture. Leadership, they need to change their mindset. They have to start investing in the cyber security technologies, specifically in AI and the Industry 4.0 revolutions. Otherwise, they should not think that we are good. Nothing is there. We are working fine. Nobody hit us. Okay, we are still good. If a manager comes to us and say we are sitting in a good stage, you should not believe him. The consultant is the best person who knows about the security things, for example, and the new technologies. So he can merge for you a strategy and a roadmap to move towards it, and it will help you to make your business better. Mindset and culture need to be changed so you can reach that stage.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. So how about you? Mr. Ali? So
Yes.
how do you see this AI-driven and hybrid cloud would bring benefit to the industry? If you don't mind sharing some examples or practical application of AI-driven and also hybrid cloud.
Yes.
Over to you, Ali.
Realizing the benefit, you are talking about the value itself. The organization, they have to realize the value initially. And not only the value, the streaming of the value, because sometimes you deliver that value for the organization, and this is the end as an end result. But we should streaming that value to the organization, and realizing the value itself, keeping us thinking about the AI, whether it's really is giving that benefits to the organization or not. So I tried to highlight one of the things there, that AI, the emerging technology basically, and any other cloud, for example, and any other emerging technology, this is not the ultimate goal of the organization to use the application of these kind of emerging technologies. Now, it's a means, it's a tool to reach that outcome or the desired outcome for the organization, that to keep their operation in a very excellent way. They reduce the cost itself of the operation cost, the IT cost itself. So many other targets that the organization want to achieve. And using these emerging technologies and the digital transformation, AI, any other things, it is basically that means or the tools or the utility to reach that outcome for the organization, which is basically the benefits that the organization want to achieve there.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Ali. So we're moving ahead to Prem. So can hybrid cloud and AI work independently? And what can they solve if they be used together? Over to you, Prem.
I would say that both has started with a different purpose, but when the fusion of this will benefit the business. So when I say that the cloud is actually a tactical, it's not a strategic, priority. So when I say that cloud can only be a facilitator, it is not the solution by itself. The solution to business problems are derived using the latest technologies or machine learning models or automation or AI. Whereas cloud has apparently started to save the cost and time, increasing the agility and security and compliances. And you need to control your data and making data portable. So these are the benefits of having a cloud, whereas the AI enablement on top of it is actually helping you to make quicker decision making and affordable cloud computing. Because the more it is hybrid, the enterprises are more comfortable. Like when the hybrid came into picture, like we have the infrastructure as a service, software as a service, PaaS, all these things help the enterprises. But AI and hybrid cloud together is helping the journey. So as Mr. Ali has mentioned, now the organizations have started to look up to IT to give a solution provider rather than a support function. So earlier, business strategy was going in one direction, whereas IT strategy is like a kind of a support. Whereas now it is together and it is, giving the same purpose to the entire organization. So now in this fourth industrial era, we have a lot of jargons, but at the same time, this IoT and large amount of data, we are able to embrace these technologies, collect this together and make autonomous decisions, which is actually helping the business. So I would say that AI is driving the way for intelligent hybrid clouds. So because when cloud started, it is to collect the data, whereas hybrid cloud is to remove the bottlenecks of the organizations. Now, when this AI and machine learning technologies came, it is actually making it intelligent. So it is helping business to realize the value at a tangible phase rather than something conceptual. So
yes, more benefit to the industry, I suppose. Yeah. So how about Irfan? What is your take on this? Do you agree, or do you have, maybe you can share your thoughts on this, Mr. Irfan? Yeah, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. So I totally agree with Prem and the comments made by other panelists. The cloud is basically introduced to automate the services, move your IT infrastructure toward the cloud, and reduce the load on IT administrators and IT managers, and give them more thoughtful ideas to strategize the IT future of their company. However, we have seen that right now AI integrating with cloud is giving them much more smarter approach toward the decisions, and they can get a lot of analytics, lot of information which they can analyze and make smarter decision on a very high level or the management level. So introducing cloud and AI to the customers is also a future I see. So what as a Kalaam, what we do, we study the requirements, design, deliver, and then monitor, manage, and support the customers. Very soon, it is not easy to have AI over your cloud infrastructure, because AI needs a lot of infrastructure. It is expensive. Some companies have cost limitation, but right now, AI has also come as a service. So Kalaam is gearing up to offer AI as a service, which will help the existing cloud users to use the AI to make smarter decisions, as Prem said, and quick decisions, and whatever the data they have for years, the AI will take that data, analyze it, and give them guidelines, give them some results by which they will be able to improve their productivity. So that is coming up. So every company who is right now thinking about cloud, keep an element of AI in their mind, that they should be gearing up to embrace AI as well over the cloud. And if they would like to know more about it, and they need some assistance and they don't have technical skills, Kalaam Telecom is there to support them, and we have a full team as a partner of Amazon and Azure and our own private clouds. With AI on top of it, we will be able to help a lot of customers. So the question was that hybrid cloud and AI work together. Yes, they work together, but first somebody have to embrace cloud and then go over to the AI benefits.
Okay, we are running short on time, but I'm sure all the panelists here, we have a lot of more to share with the audience. So my final question is to Mr. Ahmed. Do you have anything to add regarding our topics today?
Well, with the same concept that Mr. Prem and Irfan and Mr. Ali, they were talking about the cloud. Also, I mean, maybe there are some thinking that the cloud is more cheaper for you than the current. It's not. It's just that you are changing your strategy to a better one. You are getting rid of so many things, including the cybersecurity headaches and issues. And you're giving it back to the vendor who can take care of it, and you just free, you will become a free mind to work on things like AI for your own business. So if you talk about whatever things that are available in AI, it's all about uh, making your business easier, making your business more automated, so you can get rid of losing time, cost, and efforts. Uh, if I go the same level of the cloud itself, yes, I can say that what the gentlemen they said, it's the way that we have to think of, and we have to inject it with AI, which will make the life much better for us. Thank you very much.
Okay, so since we are really running out of time, I don't think we could spend time for the question from the audience, but I'm sure the audience can send your post your question in the Q&A section, and the organizers will take it offline and extend your questions to all the panelists, and you will respond. We will respond post the event. So, okay, basically to recap, our panelists have shared with us the pros and cons of AI and hybrid cloud and its limitless potential to help your organization to grow to the next level. So in whatever we do or decide, proper planning is indeed required. So that because any investment that involves in AI or in the cloud will impact your bottom line. So you should consider a realistic ROI to gain from this investment. Okay, I think that's all the time we have today. Thank you very much to all the panelists for your time, and thanks for the audience who have been attending this event. Back to you, Nevin. Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
thank you so much, Mr.
Thanks,
Osman.
Naveen.
Thank you, Mr. Ali Abdullah Alsadad, Mr. Prem Prabhakaran, and also Mr. Irfan Samuel from Kalaam Telecom, and Mr. Ahmed Albalooshi, the Managing Director of Fintech IT Services Consultation. Yes, forgot to mention, Mr. Osman, thank you for moderating this panel. Mr. Osman, who is the head of IT from the ASCENT Fund Services. Yes, we do have a lot of questions. Considering the time restrictions, I will have this sent across to you to answer it individually.